Welcome to the video. If you do enjoy, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Chapter 6, The Break-In. Now playing as Ash. The day after returning from your trip to Paris with Ava. Returned to the set, only to discover her trailer was broken into and trashed while you were away. I'm gonna find this bastard, and when I do, I don't know how much more of this I can take. You turn to see Ava trembling, eyes shining with unshed tears, and as she takes in her trashed belongings, you hold out your hand, and she takes it, her soft fingers brushing your palm as she steadies herself. Here, sit. Place your other hand on her waist as you gently help her down on the cushion. She gives you a wary but grateful smile. I just don't understand. Unwilling to let her go, you keep her hand and kneel in front of her, letting your free one rest comfortingly on her thigh. It's just... is this all even worth it? What do you mean? You give the top of her thigh a gentle, reassuring squeeze. Just, if the stalker was able to get in, there's nowhere I'm safe. You're safe with me. We'll find out who did this to you, and everything will go back to normal, I promise. Your gut twists at the idea of never getting to touch her again, or going on back to your separate lives, but you force that thought away. But it's not just about me, it's about everyone else on set. What if someone had caught the stalker in her? What if they'd gotten hurt? Pull back so you can meet her eyes, schooling your expression as you do. There's no point in dwelling on over hypotheticals, trust me. And remember, this is not your fault. This person is the one to blame. They're the one who's been following you, who trashed your trailer. But they did that because... You press your finger to her mouth, gently shushing her, and you feel her soft, plush lips against your skin. They made their own decisions. You can't control that. You're right. Just need to catch them before they do anything more drastic. She blinks, trying to clear her tears, and turn back to the mess with another sigh. Guess we should start up by cleaning all this up. No, don't. We need to look around. Maybe whoever was in here left something behind when they went through the place. She chews on her lower lip, glancing between you and the trailer door. Do you want me to leave so you can work, or can I stay with you? Despite yourself, you reach out and free her lip from her teeth by pressing your thumb against the soft skin. She sighs into your touch. Of course you can stay. You can help me investigate. But what am I supposed to be looking for? Well, if something's gone missing, or if there's something here that isn't yours, you and her start to pick your way through the mess, but she abruptly stops and picks something up off the counter. I think I found something. She passes a sealed envelope to you, her hand shaking. You tear open the envelope, your heart sinking as you find a picture of you and Ava in Paris alongside another note. It's just like the first one. Can't you see how they're ruining our movie? I know you can, you just need to focus, and then everything will be better. Enough distractions, Ava, or I'll have to take more drastic measures. A friend. I don't understand what they want me to do. It's not like I wrote the script. You take a deep breath, barely keeping the crumpled piece of paper in your fist. I'm gonna keep looking. If I find anything else... You continue your search through the trailer, noticing a notebook strewn open on the couch. You pick it up and begin to read. I can't get Ash out of my head. All day I can feel his eyes on me while I'm working. At night I dream about those eyes staring down at me as though he takes me apart. Words make heat stir in the pit of your belly. Images of Ava lying beneath you at your mercy flashing through your mind. Ava, I think your stalker went through your journal. Maybe you should flip through it, try and figure out what the stalker was looking for. I don't want to invade your privacy. If you think it might help with the investigation, I'd be happy to let you read it. Just know that you might make an appearance or two. Glance over at her and she averts her eyes, looking almost bashful. It's the first time she smiled since you entered the room. And just what about me could you possibly be writing so much about? You'd have to read it to find out. This isn't exactly the best place to do this, but come on. There's a lounge I know that should be empty this time of day. You lead Ava across the set to a cozy office space. You take a deep breath and carefully open the journal and begin to read. One of the security guards on set is gorgeous. I don't even know his name, but I find myself looking at him, even in the middle of filming. His sturdy form, his chiseled muscles, how easily he could pin me to the ground and have his way with me. Her eyes trace the contours of your body, but when you catch her looking, she quickly turns away. I can't believe I actually wrote that. Maybe it's just a way for her to get in a character for a fake relationship. Seems like, you're really focused on my body. Her eyes once again return to you, a mere look enough to set a fire burning in your veins. I had no idea you found me so distracting. She licks her lips at your words, her eyes dark, and a brief glimpse of her tongue fills you with want. Well, we both admit it is a rather nice body. You let your own gaze wander, following the tip of her cleavage down the soft curves of her hips. I was gonna say the same thing about yours. Forcing yourself to turn back to the book in your hands, you flip through the next couple pages. The accident on set, our first date, fake date, Jalen Riz's party. Is there anything you don't write about? She crosses over to you, peering down at the journal, and you can feel the whisper of her breath on your hand. I like having it written down so I can sink back into the moment whenever I want. Her long, delicate fingers flip back a few pages, briefly brushing against your own and sending a jolt through your body. What in particular caught your interest? I want to read more about our first fake date. We had our first date today. We had lunch, flirted, and ran from the paparazzi. It was surprisingly good. Surprisingly. She playfully bumps your shoulder with her own, the heat of it burning even though through your clothes. Come on, you weren't sure it was gonna work out either. Not at first. We butted heads a few times, but maybe that's what I like about him. He isn't afraid to challenge me. Too bad those are the kind of thoughts that are gonna keep me up all night fantasizing. You flip ahead a couple more pages to a more recent entry that immediately catches your attention. Last night I dreamt about Ash. We had just gotten back to my trailer. He pressed me up against the door and kissed me until I could hardly stand. You close your eyes, easily imagining the scene, the two of you wrapped up in each other. He kissed my neck, touched my breast until I was dripping. Ash! She goes to snatch the journal, her body pressed against yours. She reaches for it, but you easily keep it away. Then he dropped to his knees, hiked up my skirt, worked my panties down so he could taste me. Then, when I woke up, I was still aching with need, I imagine. Yep. She makes another grab for the journal, and this time her hand catches yours. The touch is electric, and the desire that flashes through you is distracting enough that she's able to take the notebook and close it. Maybe that's enough reading. She's still flushed, and you're drawn to her like a moth to a flame, your own body calling out to hers. I have notes. Notes. She quirks an eyebrow and smirks. You long to capture those lips, to taste them. It'd take more than some kissing to get me on my knees for you, Starlet. A lie. You'd drop to your knees and take any part of her you could get if she asked you to. And, if I were to get on my knees, you would not wake up unsatisfied. Well, any actress worth her salt takes advantage when someone offers good notes. Let me show you right here. Take a step closer, her eyes sparkling, hungry, and a bit playful. Go on then, show me. Slowly, so slowly, you lean in and she sways forward, bringing your lips together. She immediately melts against you, her body pressed tightly against yours, and you deepen the kiss. Think I'm starting to understand where you're coming from. You move your hands around her waist and slowly push her towards the counter, never parting ways with her lips. Then you lift her onto the countertop while your left hand moves behind her neck, holding her, making her yours. Why stay against the door when we've got all this space? You step between her legs, the kisses between you growing more feverish as you desperately come together again and again. She bites your bottom lip and wraps her legs around your waist, making you groan. I like your notes so far. You take feedback very well. You push the top of her dress down to expose her bra. It's thin lace, all that separates you from her. You stroke the soft fabric, rubbing it against her until you feel them start to harden. See, isn't this better? She gives you a shaky nod, arching up into your touch as you roll her breasts in your hands. Yes. You give a playful pinch to her tender skin, and her moan leaves you throbbing with need to keep touching her to take her apart. I want to feel you, really feel you. You dip your fingers under the band of her bra, feeling along the gentle curves when a knock on the door startles you. You instinctively take a step back, straightening your clothes. Ava does the same, just as Maria pokes her head in. Ava, are you in there? You're needed on set. I'll be right there. You look down at the journal, turning away from the heat in Ava's eyes, only to notice a few ripped edges near the binding. Some pages are missing from the front. Do you think the stalker might have taken them? Why not just take the whole journal, then? Do you have any idea what you might have written about? Well, I started the journal when I got cast and guarded, when it felt like my whole life was in a whirlwind. Maybe the stalker's interested in what the early movie was like. I mean, they did leave a threatening note about wanting you to change it. They're gonna be disappointed. I didn't get a first draft of the scripts until months after I was cast. Turn back to Ava, only to find her staring at you. She quickly looks away and clears her throat. I should probably get going, but thank you for your notes, Ash. I'm actually shooting a romantic scene this afternoon, and now I'm just in the right mindset. Glad I could help. A brief silence hangs in the air, thick with unspoken desire, and then she turns and leaves the room. What just happened? Once you've cleaned the trailer up a bit, you step outside only to find Gemma heading your way. Find anything useful? Not really. I was just gonna take a look at the security cameras, see if they spotted anything. Stay cautious. Only Raimi and a few other producers know about what happened to the trailer, and if it gets out... The stalker could go underground, I know. Don't worry, I'll be careful, and I'll get to the bottom of this. Honestly, I think Ava just needs someone by her side so she's not dealing with it alone. She fixes you with a pointed look. Seems like you've been that person for her lately. I'm glad I can help. She deserves so much more than what's happened to her. If I can make her feel even a tiny bit less overwhelmed by it all, then it's worth it. She's lucky to have you, Ash. Giving Gemma a nod goodbye, you make your way to the security office. Hey Ash, long time no see. What brings you back? I need a favor. I'm trying to find out who else has been in Ava's trailer over the last few days. He swiftly taps on a keyboard, expertly navigating the system and pulling up the camera feed with practiced ease. That's a pretty long stretch of time, but let's see. As the footage zooms along, you see yourself, Ava, Gemma, but every so often there's a brief black screen. Is the camera faulty or something? Seems like it goes down a lot. I forgot. You never work the night shift. The cameras go down every day to upload stored footage and clear the system memory. Not all of them at the same time, obviously, but that would be a major security concern. So whoever went in Ava's trailer must have done it when the camera was down. That means they knew how the system worked. They must have timed it so they wouldn't get caught. That'd be pretty hard to do. I mean, it's not like they go down at the same exact time every day. I suppose they could have been watching the camera, waiting until they see it was shut off. I can grab you a list of all the contractors we've had on site, but that's for the whole studio, not just the film Ava's been working on. I'd appreciate it, thanks. You make your way to the set Ava's shooting on, and your attention is immediately drawn to Ava as Raimi raises his voice at her. That's not in the newest draft of the script. I wasn't aware there was a new draft. I got mine this morning. That's okay, Ava. All of us get the drafts mixed up sometimes. Sorry, let me take a second and look it over again. We don't have a second, Ava. Before you can stop yourself, you stride across the set and up to Raimi. Can't you see? You're not getting everyone's best work. You just gave them a new draft of the script. They've hardly had a chance to look it over, much less memorize their lines. Obviously, their performances aren't going to be on the high quality that you're looking for. Ash, you don't have to. So what would you suggest? Hold off on filming for the rest of the day. There's a tense moment where you and Raimi stare each other down and then he lets out a sigh. Fine, shooting's off for the rest of the day. Go home, everyone. What a waste. Try to get some rest, Ava. We can't have you getting sick. The crowd gradually disperses, leaving you and Ava alone. Even though you're only a foot apart, you long to close the distance. How embarrassing. Thanks for standing up for me, Ash. Like I said, I've got your back. We should get you home. Oh, I was actually just gonna stay and go over the script here. Your trailer's not in good enough condition for that. She nods, but you see the momentary fear flash through her eyes. As you go to move, she stays frozen. You reach out and take her hand, her palm soft and warm where it presses against yours. It's still early in the day, there's no reason I need to go home. She squeezes your hand as though steadying herself, and you give hers a soft squeeze back. What's the matter? You rub your thumb soothingly over her knuckles. I don't want to go back to my house alone. She chews her lower lip nervously, wrapping her arms around herself. No problem, that's why I'm going with you. By the time you arrive at her penthouse, the sun has set. You do a quick check of the perimeter before the two of you get settled onto the couch. So about earlier, did you manage to find anything on who was in my trailer? There wasn't anything on the security cameras, but I'm still looking into it. She scoots closer to you, pressing up against your side, and then she leans her head on your shoulder. I know it's been quite a day, but how are you feeling? Lost. Thinking about quitting the movie. But it's your dream role. Even a dream role isn't worth the amount of stress and risk. I couldn't bear it if Gemma got hurt, or if you got hurt. Your heart races in your chest at her words, and you turn to find her looking at you, fondness in her eyes. Ava... She looks away, even as she snuggles closer to you. You flex your fingers, forcing yourself not to wrap your arms around her. And Raimi's been making such drastic changes to the source material. It's not even the movie I originally signed up for. It's still early. They could recast me without it being so disruptive to the schedule. I promise you this fear is temporary. Once we find the stalker, this will be a thing all in the past. And you should never make a permanent choice based on a temporary emotion. You sound like a fortune cookie. But I'm also right. I suppose you have a point, and I really needed to hear that. Despite her smile, her eyes still shine with unshed tears, and one escapes, tracing a path down her cheek. You reach out and swipe the tear from her cheek, the heat of her skin bleeding into yours. I guess I'm more overwhelmed than I realized. It's nothing to be ashamed of, Ava. You've been through a lot. She places her hand on top of yours, leans her face into your touch. Just focus on relaxing and getting ready for your shoot tomorrow. And how do you propose I do that? You pull her in so she's seated with your legs on either side of her, her back resting up against your chest. She sinks against you, but the muscles in her body are still drawn taut. You could start by letting go of some of this tension. You place your hands on her shoulders and start to rub them, trying to work out the knots. feels... Head falls back a little as she moans, and the sound is enough to make you stiffen. That good, Starlet? God, your hands. She shudders against you as you find a practically sensitive spot, and you imagine how she would look doing the same laid out beneath you. I can just imagine how they'd feel rubbing down my back, digging into my thighs. I bet you could work out all the tension in my body, that magic touch of yours. We should probably move to the bedroom for that. She makes as if to stand. Scoop her in your arms and carry her across the penthouse. In the bedroom, you set her down before dimming the lights and putting on some soothing music. I guess this is my own private spa now. Just lie back and relax. I'll handle the rest. She gives you a playful smile before she slips out of her clothes and lays face down on the bed. With her no longer watching, you pause to take in her bare body, following the curve of her spine down to her plush ass. Focus, Ash, focus. But you quickly realize you'll have to climb on top of her to truly get to work. I'm just trying to help her, and this is just the best way to do that. You climb onto the bed, bracing your knees on either side of her body as you rest your palms on her back. I've got a better angle from here. Your hips still brush against her rear, just that hint of pleasure enough to leave you reeling. I'm not complaining. With skilled hands, you start to apply gentle pressure to her shoulders until the tension begins to ease. Her bare skin is hot against your fingertips, and as you work, soft moans slip out of her lips. You know, I'm starting to get the sense you're more of a giver than a receiver. In general. In bed. Taking care of my partner, seeing them in pleasure, moaning my name. There's nothing like it. A shiver runs through her body at your words, and you run a soothing hand down her spine. I have to say, you know exactly how to give. But that doesn't mean I'm not up for a little pampering every now and again. You work your way down her back, digging your fingers into her muscles and relishing the way she melts under your hands. Her whole body suddenly goes taut as you rub a spot in the middle of her back that is rock hard. That's tender, isn't it? She gradually relaxes again as you gently rub circles over her back, your eyes wandering over her bare form. Guess I'm a lot more tense than I realized. Do you think you can get it out? You barely press against the spot again, and she gasps, her fingers clutching at the sheets as her back arches. The sight sends a flurry of inappropriate thoughts through your head, and it takes you a moment to find your words. It might hurt. I don't mind, I trust you. Gently. You keep your touch light, letting your thumb glide around the knot rather than over it. You gradually increase the pressure of your touch, careful not to dig into the tender spot as you press her into the bed. As the muscle around the knot lets go, it loosens, and after a few more strokes, her soft skin, it disappears entirely. Just needed a gentler touch. She turns her head to look back at you, eyes glazed over and lips parted. I'm also a bit tense lower on my body. You take a deep breath before you take a seat on the bed, her naked body calling you. You pull her legs into your lap, the lithe muscles of her calves trembling as you stroke over them. Don't worry, I'll take care of you. Your body's laid out before you like a canvas, and you long to paint every inch of it with your touch. You move your hands up her calves and to her thighs, squeezing them before your fingers tease along the inside. Ash. I'm sure she'll be writing a lot in her diary later. Your hands work up and down when you reach the tops of her thighs. Your fingers slide dangerously close. Every time you draw close, she holds her breath and spreads her legs further as though welcoming you. Stay right there, Ava. That's one line we can't cross. But then she's letting out a soft moan, and you grow harder at the sound, your body longing for more. She turns in your grip, laying out on her back with her whole body on display. Ava, what are you? But you're already staring, tracing the curves of her breast, the smooth planes of her stomach with your eyes. Just getting more comfortable. You swallow roughly before turning your attention back to her legs, massaging her ankles and then her feet. As your thumb glides along the arch of one of her feet, she squirms, accidentally rubbing her leg against your front. You bite back a moan. Sorry, ticklish. I'll have to remember that. Your hands are on her thighs again. Her face softens at your touch, surrendering herself to you. That feels amazing. You've done all this for me. I want to do something for you too. She sits up and puts her hands on your shoulder, the air suddenly charged with unspoken desire. Ava, even through your clothes, her touch burns, and the once smoldering her eyes makes you throb. You sway towards her, feeling her breath on your lips, and time seems to stand still as she closes the distance between you. Ash. Pull her in your lap. Grab a hold of her waist and drag her into your lap, legs falling open so they can wrap around your back. Her naked hips slot against your still-clothed ones, and you groan as a bolt of pleasure streaks through you. Her lips part beneath yours, and you lick along them, tasting the soft skin before deepening the kiss. She clutches your back as you encircle her in your arms, holding her lithe form tight against you. God, you're perfect. But even with desire simmering in your belly, reality hits you full force and you lean back, creating distance between you. I can't do this. Her brow furrows in confusion and a flash of hurt crosses her face as you get up. But I thought... You stare at her, full of longing, pain. You want to gather her up, kiss her again. The intensity of that feeling knocks the air out of you. But instead you force yourself to walk to the door. I can't keep getting distracted when my job is to keep you safe. This is the last time we can let something like this happen. Close the door behind you and step outside to get some air when you scrub a hand down your face. I'm falling for her. And I'm falling hard. Without further ado, please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Otherwise, check out the description of the video. Plenty of things to check out there, ways to support, and ways to become an intricate part of this community. There is also the integrated feature of join and thanks on YouTube. Consider checking those out as well in a way of supporting. Otherwise, thank you all for watching. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Without further ado, hope you have a great day and a weekend. I'll catch you all later. Peace out.